Off we go on week 9 in Arizona high school football. Jose Garcia, man, it's hard to believe. Is it really week 9? Is it almost Halloween?
It is. Can you believe we are in the Halloween edition of Arizona high school football? I like to call it the ESPN After Dark edition. I'm wearing my Green Goblin shirt and costume, and I'm ready to roll.
You have, okay, that's your costume? Because I was going to go with blue this year. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's all right. I'm, plain. Plain and simple. That's me.
All right, I'm gonna put on the glasses. I'm gonna put on an AZ Preps 365 shirt and tell everybody that I'm you, and then everybody will like me, which will be a nice change. So we got some monster games this week. Friday night, we'll start on Thursday night, but Friday night's gonna be fun. Two just absolute monsters, the kind of stuff we live for.
Indeed, ESPN is going to be in town to cover the Basha Chandler Hamilton game. You've got first place at stake in the region, and I think going into this, the big question is going to be, how is Basha going to start this game, Mark?
No, it definitely. I thought this was going to be like more of kind of a pick'em game, but after seeing what Liberty did to Basha, I think Chandler should be a pretty overwhelming favorite in this game.
It is. The way they've been playing, they've been pretty much steamboating every opponent. And again, if Basha gets off to a slow start, I don't see him coming back against that offense of Chandler and the great defense they have as well. You got two of the top 10 quarterbacks in the 2023 class, and Dylan Rayola and Damon Williams. And you also got some Oregon connections here. Khalil Valentine, who just received a University of Oregon offer this week, talented running back out of Chandler. Chandler's defensive lineman, Amari Washington, is also an Oregon commit. And then Cole Martin of Basha, the talented DB, who always is smiling. He's on his way to Oregon next year also.
Yeah, a lot of talent. So what's a roadmap you think look like for Basha to play well in this game, to compete? I mean, Chandler has the horses, but could you see this being one of those things always get wild this time of year in Arizona high school football?
Yeah, I think it's time for Basha to prove itself that it is an open contender. They returned a lot of experience from last year. We thought going into this year, okay, this is going to be the year where they're going to make a run. And then next year as well, because they're returning so many talented players. But after the Liberty performance, after the slow start against Hamilton, you're starting to think, okay, are they there yet to be that open contender? Do they need more experience? Maybe that's going to be the thing that we're going to see right from the start. Where is Basha at this point? Because we already know where Chandler stands.
All right, and then let's head to Scottsdale or Paradise Valley or Phoenix or wherever. Well, we know these two teams, the next big rivalry, Saguaro and Chaparral, was separated by just a couple of miles. That's always, they couldn't play this game for a while because it was such a rivalry.
Yeah, it's if you remember last year's game, when Saguaro went on to win the Open Championship game, the only loss that team suffered was against Chaparral. So that tells you how big this rivalry is for both teams. Chaparral is only 3-4 this year, but it's lost, I think, 3 of its games by combined 13 points. It still has a chance to host the 6A playoff game as well. They've got Plas Johnson, the 6A leading receiver, and then also quarterback Miles Van Heuvel, who is the total yards leader in 6A. Saguaro, as you well know, is loaded with talent all over the field on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, and it's one of those, I mean, that rivalry was recently written about in Sports Illustrated. I think you got to go back to our Week 4 podcast where we discussed that. But you can bet that there's going to be a little extra between these two schools this week.
Yes, especially after what happened last year. Saguaro is going, is hosting this game. And Saguaro is already in playoff mode right now, because if they lose another game, I don't think they're going to be in the Open. And they've already been talking, their playoffs started like a week or two ago. So there's a lot at risk for that team.
Yeah, for sure. So those are the two monster games, but we start on Thursday night football and we have quite a few more. So what do you say we get inside the AZ Preps 365 AZ Family School Bus? Where's your first stop?
Absolutely. You want to start on Thursday? We'll start definitely on Thursday, because we got some big games on Thursday night. You got Millennium and Cactus, a big Desert West region game. There is so much talent in that region. This game is ultimately, it's going to determine a lot in who wins that region. Rudy Gonzalez, a transfer quarterback from Deer Valley to Cactus, just started playing. So I think he's going to be helping out here toward the tail end of the season. Zeus Pender Nation is coming off his biggest game of his career for Millennium. A very, very solid victory over Verado for Millennium last week. So I'm impressed by what they did last week, because they were a little bit inconsistent, had lost 3 in a row, but definitely rebounded against Verado last week.
All right, so that's a big Thursday. Any more Thursday night showdowns? How much gas do we need to put in the school bus on Thursday night?
Hey, we got plenty of gas, because not only do we got Thursday, we got to take care of Halloween as well. We got to take the kids around and get their candy. So for Thursday games, ALA Queen Creek is at Higley in a big 5A Santan region game. Wide receiver, cornerback extraordinaire Ryan Meza, who received an invite to go watch a USC game next week against Cal. Look out for him. And then sophomore sensation quarterback Jamar Malone II of Higley. Also, USC has some interest in him. Highland is at Pinnacle in a big 6A Northeast Region Valley game. If Highland wins, they are back in the open discussion. But if Pinnacle wins, it stays in the open rankings, Mark. Those are your big Thursday games.
All right, so yeah, Thursday is going to be fun. You're going to have to get the camera out there for the extra point and get some highlights tonight. We got the 2 big games we talked about on Friday. We got some other games around the state, though, including a potential record that could fall.
Indeed. Richard Starworth, the talented quarterback at Yuma Catholic, is 184 yards away from passing Spencer Rattler as the state's career passing leader. More than likely, he's going to get it the way he's been performing. Usually 300 yards. 200, it's always a safe bet that he's going to hit that 200 or 300 yard mark every game. But the big thing about this is one of the biggest rivalries in the state, top 10 in my opinion now. Northwest Christian at Yuma Catholic. These 2 teams, when they were playing in 3A, every game was a meaningful game. They either played in the playoffs or were playing for a region title. And it just so happens they're going to be playing more than likely for a region title tonight, because those 2 teams, or probably on Friday, because those 2 teams are in first place. Richard has some help from his family, believe it or not. J.C.O. Brown, his cousin, last week he caught 4 of Richard's 5 touchdowns in their victory against Glendale last week. Rocky, who's a sophomore, is Richard's brother, talented linebacker. And of course, Red Starworth is the dad of Rocky and Richard. So a lot of family ties in that game, and a great rivalry game between these 2 teams, between Northwest and Yuma Catholic.
Does Yuma bust out the bagpipe guy? Did you end up investing? Is that just for home games? And actually, I didn't even look. Is this game in Yuma, or is this game over here in Phoenix?
It is going to be at Yuma Catholic. I'm pretty sure they'll have the kilts and the bagpipes for this one. Fortunately, they didn't show up with the kilts or the bagpipes this last Friday game. I know you had told me, to probably wear a kilt. I was actually going to ask him. I was going to ask one of the bagpipe players if I can wear the kilt for our game preview that we had for your show on Friday. But oh well, maybe next time.
What would he wear if you borrowed his kilt? Don't answer that question.
Yeah, I think the camera
we want
to get another direction.
Okay, so that's a big game this week. We got a couple more to talk about. What are kind of your headlines when you get on the radio on Saturday morning? The other headlines you're going to be talking about.
Speaking of Saturday morning, this Saturday is going to be our 2A and 3A bracket show on our radio show between 9 and 10 on 1580 Fanatic, as well as azpreps365.com. And the game of the year in the 2A, Pima at number 1, Morenci. Pima's number 2. This game is not only going to decide a region champion, but it's going to decide who gets the number 1 seed in the 2A state tournament. So stay tuned for that, because that's going to be a big game.
All right. Well, we'll get the cameras rolling there. I think we got it all covered. Anything else on your mind this week? What's your game plan looking like for Halloween?
Well, for Halloween, I think I'm just going to stay at home. I'm going to let the kids go off with their friends. And then once they're ready for me to pick them up, I'm pretty much, that's all I'm doing nowadays after work hours. It's just drive up and pick up and drop off. That's all I'm doing after work. Mark.
Well, good thing you have a school bus.
Yes, and it's full of gas too. That's the other thing. So big thanks to Channel 3 there and the Arizona family, and AZ Preps 365 as well for the gas money.
All right, Jose Garcia, find him on a sideline near you soon, and find him on 1580 every Saturday morning talking high school football.
The Extra Point Podcast is a production of 3TV, CBS5, and azfamily.com in Phoenix, Arizona.